It was fake. It was fake. How? How? Hello there and welcome. And it turns out that the Shenmue IV trailer was completely fake. I, like many others, had that hope, still held on to that hope, even after EastNet said it's nothing to do with us. I even put a poll up which got a lot of votes for this size of this channel at least, and like 80% of people still had hope. If you're new here, my name is James, and on this channel we do talk about Shenmue, and we also issue apologies, which is going to come in this video. If it sounds like something you're interested in, please do give the video a like and subscribe as well. So firstly, I want to say I want to give an apology to all the people who commented and said it was fake, and there was a bit of banter back and forth with some people, and I love a bit of banter, like quite a lot. That's why I respond to a lot of the comments, and I have said it in previous videos. It's not any ill will towards you, because I know it's not really ill will towards me, it's banter, but I sincerely apologize. You were right, I was wrong. I was completely wrong, just way off the mark. Here's me trying to get some theories together, because I like to collect data. In fact, in my real world job, I have to create theories and collect data and come up with ideas, and that's generally what I do on this channel as well. And it turns out that the Shenmue IV trailer was completely fake. There are some good things that have come out of it, though. I think the fact that so many people believed it was real kind of proves that there is demand for Shenmue 4. And I think EastNet need to see that. They need to understand that. But going back to the statement, it still does not debunk that Shenmue 4 is real. Because if it were not in development, it could be a case of EastNet say in their statement there is no Shenmue 4 in development. But they didn't specifically say there was no Shenmue 4. And I'm not going to clickbait this video. I'm not going to have it as like Shenmue 4 is still real, because that people may see that as rage bait, I guess, and I don't really want to do that. I want this to be a bit more of a serious video rather than a silly video like I usually do. If you have seen any of my, if you've seen more than 5 of my videos, you'll know that I tend to go for a bit of silliness on this channel. So this one's a bit more serious in that sense. But for me, Shenmue 4 does exist. Obviously not in game form, at least not yet. But the demand is clearly there. So let me cover how we know, despite the EastNet statement, even after that, how we know that this is now not a genuine leak. Well, it turns out that the person that created it came out on the Shenmue Dojo forum and initially posted a link which people believed to be a bit dodgy, so nobody clicked it for a little bit until someone actually did and confirmed that, yeah, here we have the actual leaker. Well, leaker, hoaxer, faker, whatever. And it's snowballed from there. And obviously this person has not meant any malice, as he says in this. It was done purely as a fan. It's like 100% a fan creation. And I'll tell you one thing, for this person to create that trailer, they know a lot about Shenmue. This could be a way for them to get in with EastNet, because they clearly have done their research. They clearly understand the Shenmue world. They clearly understand everything about it. They understand so much. So it just still makes you wonder, is it really fake, or is this another hoax of a hoax? It's just mind-boggling to think of that this person could be hoaxing everybody into making them think it's fake, and in actual fact it's no, that's just too much thinking, way too much thinking. It's time for me to admit defeat and say that it isn't real. And I tell you what, if it still turns out to be real, this will go down in history as one of the greatest non-hoax hoaxes ever. Because this is just insane. Maybe it's a good marketing tactic, who knows? But like I said, there is clear demand for Shenmue 4 in the world. And the amount of people that wanted it to be real, because let's face it, yes, I know there was AI involved. I made videos pointing out, yet there's AI in there. But companies do this. When they send pitch, I'm going to say the word trailer, it's not really a trailer. When they say, send pitch trailers to publishers, try and get a publisher for a game, they will use AI, and especially in this day and age, to simulate certain events within a game. So let's say, for example, there is an RPG coming out, and it's a bit like Final Fantasy. They've got some of the core gameplay down, but they want to illustrate that the character can do this a bit like Cloud in Final Fantasy. They'll use AI to kind of simulate that, and then they'll send that to the publisher, and then the publisher can say yes, no, whatever. But AI is also a big buzzword when it comes down to publishers, so it wouldn't be out of the ordinary to see a trailer like this sent to a publisher. Obviously, Ethernet have got a lot to live up to now, because that trailer looked brilliant. It's what we would have expected to see from Shenmue, and it's just devastating to know that this is real. But again, if it is real, wow. I've seen some great hoaxes in my lifetime. I've seen a lot of them, weirdly enough, revolve around Fallout. You know, I've seen the Survivor hoax about Fallout. God, this is going back some years now. The leaked memo from Bethesda, which mentions something about Fallout 4, a Nuka World. If anyone remembers that, that was well over 10 years ago, because Fallout 4's been out 10 years. I'm going back a long time here. But like, that hoax had a letter, allegedly by Bethesda, going to employees saying, don't mention these words at E3. I think it was E3. And one of the words was Nuka World. And the weird thing is that everyone said, oh no, that's a hoax, it's a hoax. The leaker even came out and said it's a hoax, but people were still skeptical about that. And further down the line, like a couple of years later, yeah, Fallout 4 released, but then all of a sudden there was a DLC for Fallout 4 called Nuka World, and immediately people went back to this memo and said, hang on, we were told this was fake. A leaker came out and said it was fake. And yet Nuka World was on there long before anybody knew even where Fallout 4 was going to be set. So how could Nuka World be on this leaked memo years before Nuka World even existed, before anyone knew about Nuka World? To this day, I still don't think people know whether that memo was legit or not. I think it's one of the biggest leaks that existed for Fallout 4, and it was insane. I generally don't know if that was legit or fake, but it was weird to think about. So, you know, assigning that kind of logic to this leak, is it a case of, oh, we've been told it's all fake now, and in years to come, does it turn out that actually this person that's alleged they've done it was just having a laugh, having a joke, and it turns out the trailer was real in the end? Probably not. I think we can all say now it is over for that trailer being official Shenmue 4. But like I said, it does not mean that Shenmue 4 is not in existence. I am quite confident that Shenmue 4 does exist. And perhaps this was done by somebody who wanted to kind of illustrate that there is a need for Shenmue 4. And Ethernet have looked at this, and publishers looked at this and thought, actually, maybe we should. If they were to do a Shenmue 4, I don't think it would take quite as long to create as it did for Shenmue 3. But I'll go over that in a different video, because I have some ideas of what they could do with Shenmue 4 and how it could actually be created fairly quickly, easily, and efficiently. But like I said, that's a whole other video. So what do you think about this hoaxer coming out and saying that it's fake? Do you still believe? I don't. I've given up. Like I say, I don't believe it's real anymore. I've died on that hill, as I said, but here we go. Let me know in the comments what you think about all of this around Shenmue 4. Do you think it's reignited the spark for people who want the conclusion to this fantastic series? I certainly think it has. If you go through that forum post on Shenmue Dojo, there is literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And it's probably the biggest thread on that forum. It's insane. There's definitely a demand. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. There'll be a couple of other videos on the screen now if you fancy watching any of those. Give the video a like if you liked it, but give it a dislike if you didn't. If you're one of them people who I responded to and you didn't like it, just give this video a dislike, it's fine. Subscribe button just down below. Hopefully I will see you in one of my next videos, but until then, thanks so much for watching and take care.